Hi, and welcome to the channel. I'm KarenDC, and I wanted to share a story with you today. And there are trigger warnings here because I'm going to be talking about my experience with death. I have experienced connecting with people either as they're passing in a hospital, or actually, I've had 3 different people pass in my own home. And we all have different feelings about what that is. And I wanted to share that with you and what that gift has brought to me as a person, as a healer, as a person that is connected to the other side, and the way I view it and experience it. So I have both sides where it is somebody that I know and somebody very dear to me. I was present when my mother passed in my own home, my mother in law, and a woman I called my second mom. I also was present in a hospital with my great aunt, and also in a hospital with my dear friend's father, who was honorary dad of my own. So I've had both sides of this experience where, you can detach from it, but also where it is very, very personal. And I will say that watching my own mother pass in my home was the most difficult experience of my life. But it also taught me so much about death and understanding it. So I'll go back a little bit here. When I was around 12, I started experiencing, I guess you would call them premonitions of death coming. And I didn't know it was a premonition. I didn't know it was exactly that. I would have these experiences where I would, about 2 weeks before somebody would die, and this was way before cell phones and the digital age, I would really want to talk to somebody, and I would try to call them, and there would be no answer. And I think even then it was no answering machines. I don't know. It was quite a while ago. But anyways, the I would try to contact them, call them, see them, ask my mom, "Hey, can we go see so and so?" And we couldn't. And it would start about 2 weeks beforehand, and then on the 14th day, we would get a call that that person had passed away. Now this happened 3 times, definitely, that I can remember. But around this time in my life, there was a lot of death. My great grandfather passed. I had the same experience with him. 2 weeks beforehand, I wanted to talk to him, and no matter how many times I wanted to get on the phone to call him, he was either not there or we were too busy, and whatever happened. And on the 14th day, we found that my great grandfather had passed. It happened with my uncle, my father's brother, and for 2 weeks wanted to call him, wanted to talk to him, hadn't been able to reach him. And I was at my grandfather's house visiting, and my mom called, and I had to come home early from grandpa's house, and that's when she brought me home and let me know that my uncle had passed away in a car accident. So it happens in many different ways, and also it was, one of them was my cat that my mom's mom, my grandma, had taken and was, having. And I wanted to go visit our cat, and of course, we had very original names. The cat's name was Gato, and which is cat in Spanish. So I wanted to see Gato, but 14 days later, grandma called and she had to put Gato down because he had feline leukemia. So my mom kept telling me, as she realized what was happening, she said, "Listen, just because you have this feeling and this connection doesn't mean you have to have that gift." She said that when she was young, what she did was she told her guides, her angels, whatever she thought of them at that point in her life, but spiritually speaking, she said, "I do not want this gift. I don't want to know when death is coming, for myself or anybody else." And so she turned it off, never had another experience in her life. And so she told me I could do that. But I didn't have a fear of it. What I had was more of compassion. As a 12-year-old, I was very upset. It was very traumatizing. I lost my grandfather, our cat, my uncle, and my cousins were killed. And so it was a lot of chaos at that time. But as I got older, I realized that it is such an honor. We look at death in a lot of different ways. We look at it as it's difficult because we're emotionally, as a human, we are losing somebody. And when that person goes, we're thinking everything is horrible, but it isn't always. That's the human experience, but the soul experience is being graduated, ascending into and returning to the light. So there's a lot of different feelings. Now, I'll say when in 2010, I experienced my husband's mother coming to our home to pass away. She had cancer and she was given a short time to live. She died in half that time, and we cared for her in our home. And it was very difficult to watch because it was, she was in pain, so there was a lot of pain medication. And then she kind of got into this altered state because the cancer had gone into her brain, so it was very difficult. It was affecting her, so she basically went into like a coma state. And the doctors told me that she would pass quickly and everything, but she lasted, I think it was 17 days with no food and water. But we kept giving her medication and oxygen so she was comfortable. That was the biggest thing, to keep her comfortable. And she started having seizures and things like that. So it was very violent. Luckily, my husband and my oldest son did not see it. I experienced it, which was very traumatic to see somebody suffer like that. So I demanded more medication to help her be able to, be comfortable and not have those seizures happening. Then the day she passed, I knew that day that she was going to pass. And I have this, my words were, I was a gatekeeper and I needed to hold space for her to be able to make that transition from the physical into the non physical. And it was so important to me. And my husband was adamant he did not want to be there. So I said, that's fine. You don't need to be, but I need to be. I want to be there to hold that space and let your mother know that she's safe and that I'm here and the angels and God are coming for her. So when it happened, I remember leaving the house. My oldest son was visiting and my husband was in the kitchen, and I went out to go get something to make dinner. And I came back in. And when I came back in, I heard this noise, and mind you, she was in the bedroom towards the back of the apartment, and there was oxygen machine running, so it was loud. And when I walked in the door, I must have got 2, 3 feet, and I heard this noise, and I can't describe it. I don't know if it was the veil between the two realms opening or what, but I just knew it, and I ran back there with the groceries in my hands. And I looked at her and I could see she was starting to transition. And I ran back out and I said, it's time. And they both ran in and were with her and holding her hand. And within 3 breaths, she had passed. And my husband later said that he was so grateful that it happened that way, that he was able to be there in that moment to say goodbye, to hold her hand, and to be with our son at that time. And everybody is unique, and you don't have to be with somebody when they pass. It's not a requirement. Sometimes the souls wait until you have left, until they pass, so that you don't have to see that and they don't have to see the pain on you. And my grandfather, when he was dying in the hospital, his wife went home to go take a shower and come back, and her son was there. And as soon as she left and drove the 20 minutes to their house, my grandfather had passed. So the minute she walks in the door, the phone's ringing, and it's her son telling her my grandfather had passed. And that was, my grandpa, that was his way of not making her have to see that moment. And that is something we, as the ones left behind, need to remember, to understand that it's okay if we're not there. We're not bad. You can close your eyes wherever you are and connect with those souls as they're passing, no matter where they are, whether they're in this state or this country, it doesn't matter. So remember that when you're having those, issues, maybe you can't get to somebody when they're about to pass or they're become very ill. It's okay. Sit down, take a moment, connect with their higher self, with your higher self. So those are the type of things I want you to think about when it comes to understanding death, to connecting with death. And when my mom passed, like I said, that was the most difficult death I was present for. I was not the healer, I was not the channel, I was just a daughter watching her mother die. It was very difficult, and I spent probably a month or two before I could sense her. Everybody kept acting like it was not a big deal, but for me, it was really hard. And it helped me to understand what everybody else goes through better, because when she died, I was grieving so desperately and so deeply. I was just empty without her. She was my best friend. And it was, we lived 7 stairs apart from each other. And so we were always talking and chatting. So it was very difficult to lose her. But when I finally laid down on my own healing table and I put my hands on my heart and I was like, Mom, I miss you. I really miss you. I need to see you and feel you. And I started thinking about her laughter and I started thinking about the silly things we used to do together. And when I connected to the energy of the joy of her memory, I felt her. And as I opened my eyes, I saw my mother standing next to me on my healing table. And she's looking at me, and I felt, with my hands on my heart, I felt my mom's hands come down through my chest and touch my heart. And it was then I realized the answer to feeling our loved ones when they have crossed is to connect to the joy, connect to the love, instead of just the missing them and the pain and all of that. Not that my pain and my missing my mom still isn't here today, but the thing is I focus more on her laughter. I will cook and make something and I'll taste it and I'm like, oh, this is so good. Mom, you would love this. And then I feel her and I sense her. It draws her into this moment with me. So I'll get a whiff of her smell, or I'll hear her laugh, or I'll sense her energy. And that helps me. So that's the gift I want to share with you. That's the gift. Death is a birth from this plane to the next. And when we have a new baby come, it is a death from that side and a birth to this side. So if you think about that, no matter what age people are, they are graduating, they are ascending, they are elevating. And yes, there are horrible, horrific ways to pass, but know that the souls are in the best possible place. They have gone into the light where we all have come from. It is loving, it is beautiful, it is kind and compassionate. So they are surrounded with this. So I want to share that with you, that having the connection to death is not always a bad thing. It is a beautiful experience when you realize, like I have in the 5 times that I've been in the moment with somebody passing, that holding that space for when my second mom passed, her daughter, and my mom, who was her best friend, and other friends and family that were there, when I was able to be present in that moment for their need and letting them know when she was ready to pass so they could be with her and touch her and hold her, and that I could share the energy that I saw, that the walls opened up and this light and love came through and just blessed everybody in the room. And I was able to feel her physical body as she passed. She smiled because she was at peace and she was ready and she moved on. And that was the experience in that moment. And it is such a gift, an honor to be there in that moment, but also know if you're not, that the soul comes to you and will move through you and let you know that they have crossed and give you love and connection. So if you're not there in the physical moment, it's totally okay. That it's okay not to be there, but it is also beautiful to be there. So don't fear it. Allow yourself to be willing to experience it. You don't have to be up close and personal, just emanate the love from your heart for them. That knowing that they're going into a better place, they're going to feel peace, they're going to feel calm. So I know this was a big circle of things, but being able to understand death and connect with death in a way that is beneficial for you, the person dying, and the family around. If you can be a gatekeeper, a placeholder of light in that moment, what a beautiful gift. I am honored and deeply grateful for the experiences that I've had with my aunt, with my friend's father, with my second mom, with my mom, and with my mother in law. They were all very unique and individual experiences, and I'm grateful to have been there. I feel like I got the opportunity to be touched by that angelic realm and light in those moments. And I'm not downgrading horrific death, suicide, all of those different things. They're all emotionally hard as the human that is left behind. It is tragic. I'm not negating that at all. So please know that I only want to share with you from my perspective and my experiences what I have felt and seen in the transition of a soul from the physical into the non physical. And that your connection to it, if you have it, you can choose to turn it off. You can choose to tell your guides, I don't want to know this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to be aware of it. I want it to come to me when it comes, and it's my time to go. And that's fine. There's no wrong answer to this. All the gifts that you have, all the gifts that I have, we all have. And which ones we turn on in our experience, that's up to us. We can decide, okay, no, I'm not going to be intuitive. I'm going to call it something else, or I'm just going to ignore it. That's fine. There's no wrong choice. You're still learning lessons. You're still experiencing and elevating your soul's consciousness by your choices. So know that, take it one step at a time. Be clear about what you want and want to experience. I know personally that I have turned all my gifts on and off throughout my life. Growing up, it was very much in my life. Then becoming a wife and a mother, they went off and then they came back on. And then I finally came out of the woo woo closet and just accepted it and shared it with everybody. So there's still some words and some things I talk about that I still today, after all these years, I'm going to be 59, and I still a little apprehensive about saying, hey, I'm noticing this or that. Not everybody gets it. And I don't want to demean anybody's religious beliefs, because whatever it is for you that works, that's perfect. It needs to be individual for you. It's not a cookie cutter, one fits all kind of thing. So trust that what resonates within you is right for you. And so I'm telling you, these are my experiences with death. These are my views on death. And I hope this information and sharing of my experiences, my gifts, and my abilities within the connection to death and crossing will help. And if you have questions, please, please comment below. I will answer what I can. I'll make another video if I need to, but I really want to be able to help you and support you on your spiritual growth and journey for you, uniquely you. So somewhere in here, I'll put something, maybe over here or over here, who knows. I never remember which side it's going to be on, but I'll put something up for you to look at, meditations or another video, to be able to help support you. Okay. So click the link below, or no, click the like below and hit the little bell so that you'll be notified when I upload another video. And thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate it. I'm asking if you can subscribe and like and share and comment. So You guys take care. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Bye bye.